I've been waiting for the perfect moment to film this, for the perfect day, the perfect hour, the perfect face. And what I found out, as it always happens, there's not a good enough moment. There's never enough hours of sleep. There's never a curated enough version of what you want to say. So yeah, let's get to it and let's explain how I feel, because after both looking forward and waiting for this moment for several years now, I think it is time to start a new journey, one that might embark you and me on a new adventure of costume making and eventually, hopefully, learning together. For those who are new to my face and to my work, hello, hi, my name is Marta and I am an artisan. I've been making historically inspired and fantasy and stage costumes for about 15 years now. In this moment, the most famous pieces of my range are crowns, despite I started making corsets, which has nothing to do with headpieces, but yeah, here we go. I am a self-taught artisan who started as a hobbyist, as many others do. And that for internet reasons, I started selling my work through Etsy to customers from all over the world. Now I want to sort of give back some of that love and that support that I've been receiving all throughout these years. So whether you're a cosplayer or a costume maker or a jewelry maker or a curious soul in general, this place is for you. I've lost count of the times I've been requested to give online classes, to teach my techniques, to be more insightful about my processes. Well, this you are seeing, and my new Patreon might be the answer to some of those prayers. Before I embark on those adventures with you of teaching and learning and sharing in a more deeply connected community, I really want to tell you more about my own background, my story, because everything seems to circle back to where I began my costume making journey. I first started making costumes, historically and fantasy inspired costumes, back in 2009. Shortly after, when I opened my Etsy shop, I started being more serious about my art and how it would become my way to earn a living. I really thought I wanted to have my own brand of costumes, headdresses and accessories, and have all those launches, yearly launches, and you know, the seasonal ones, the fall, winter and the spring, summer, that kind of stuff. In that pursuit, I kind of forgot who I was as an artist and as a maker. Here's a disclaimer, don't get me wrong here. I love making pieces for sale. I love working with customers on their special pieces, designing stuff from scratch for them. That's a whole another issue, and I'm gonna digress a little bit, but this is something I want to speak about the difference of off-the-rack, kinda, custom and bespoke. There's a difference there, and I want to tell you more about that, but that's totally off topic here, and let's go back to the point. I'm forever grateful that I got trusted by so many people. I'm honored to make special pieces for their most special and memorable events of their lives. Still, there's been something kind of missing in this whole picture since my shop began being my full-time job over 5 years ago. In fact, these years of experience have been pushing me back to the place I sort of derailed from. I've been feeling kind of tied up by the societal and capitalist bind of what is expected of me as a business owner. It's been just recently that I realized I've been craving to slow down. I think this is a general feeling, that I'm not alone in this. I kind of need to slow down, not only as an artisan, but also in my personal life. I want to give my craft the time it demands. And in so, I want to get closer to my own essence again as a maker. This feels more of an internal ship rather than an outside show. if that makes sense. And this will probably affect how I showcase my work in the future. I don't know. I'm just kind of ready to implement internal changes that will influence how I approach my work. Nowadays, watching how the international landscape, let's put it that way, continuously changes, I see myself with a little more extra time, and also with this drive to regain my initial spark. And being a full-time artist or artisan has always been my dream, and here's where Patreon and YouTube come into play. Because as much as I'd love to be a Renaissance kind of artist that explores each and every one of my creative interests, which are many, I cannot forget that I still live immersed in a capitalist world where bills are not paid in spices. Having your support in these platforms means that I can expand my creative endeavors and bring you all along with me. I could be sharing my experience and my old and newly learned lessons with less restrictions, and you can be a key part of that journey, either as a patron or as a free subscriber on YouTube, whichever suits you most, and of course as a customer. Either way, your support will absolutely mean the world to me. So now that you know a little bit more about how I feel and where I'm coming from, what's the plan? Where are we leading to? Because you're coming along with me, I know that. How is it that I say that I've been both dreading and looking forward to this moment for several years now, actually? This is because I fully understand, I'm fully aware of the responsibility that it is to comply with people's expectations and to comply with my own promises. This is something that I experience every day when working with customers, especially when working with customers on bespoke pieces, because these people rely on me and they trust me, they trust my judgment and my craft, my work, and it's always a pleasurable duty for me actually to fulfill my side of that agreement. But Patreon and YouTube, they feel like a full-time job on themselves in my eyes, just as Etsy is. Combining this with my online shop is gonna be a challenge. So let's see how that goes. This is the main reason why I want to set a solid base of what I plan to do in these platforms while being kind to myself. It is my aim to be trustworthy and deliver what I say I will, just as I do when working with customers on their pieces. For the time being, I'm setting some affordable expectations onto myself to see how I can accommodate everything. And I'm starting by making freely available posts, blog posts on Patreon that you can enjoy. You don't need to be subscribed to read those. And occasionally I want to upload more long format videos on YouTube, not as chatty and as boring as this one, because this is probably getting a little bit long already, but I want to tell you all these things so everything is kind of set into place. These pieces of contents are meant to keep you all updated and engaged about what I'm currently working on at the moment, my thoughts regarding my creative projects, or actually my life as an artist and an artist, and as a business owner, which is malabares. Kind of an overall look at my creative life at each given time. Eventually, once I have my creative mojo flowing and I know how everything sits in my own schedule and how I can manage everything, my plan is to start offering the more juicy stuff about my costumes and my crowns and headdresses into different tiers in Patreon. Think of filmmaking of videos and blog posts with insights, explanations, mistakes, because there's always mistakes, concrete techniques explained, materials explained, pattern drafting, sketching, developing a collection or a design from scratch, from the very sketch to the final results, stash bashing projects to put the already existing materials to use. That's very interesting because we all, every creative mind is a kind of a hoarder. Reducing, repurposing and recycling project ideas for you to make, collectively deciding my next projects or my collections, and whatever other approaches I can think of that you may be interested in. Lighting is changing and I need to modify the opening of the adjective. Okay. As a preview, there's quite a bunch of ideas and projects that I want to get started with. You wouldn't believe the amount of material that I have that's been collecting dust, digital dust, for as long as 4 years. Countless videos of the making of several pieces and costumes that I've never got to share anywhere. I think they not only deserve more space, but also are beautiful examples of craftsmanship and techniques and possibilities. Some of this unseen footage includes Sultana-inspired crowns. Those have become very popular among my social media followers, and never in my wildest dreams I would have thought that I'd be making Ottoman-inspired jewelry and costume pieces. Also, there's a blue medieval velvet dress with embroidered neckline and sleeve cuffs. That's so pretty and so comfortable. And it has pockets. No, it doesn't have pockets. No, it doesn't have pockets. I should set pockets there. And there's also a huge red satin and tulle bridal gown that I made a couple years ago for a friend. That bridal gown is, the whole making of process is filmed, and there are hours upon hours of material there. What I only lack of is pictures of my friend wearing the gown, which is lame. But yeah, we need to fix that. We need to arrange a photo shoot soon. These are some of the examples of things that I already have that I only need to curate to be able to share it. And as my Patreons enjoy the full story and the priority access, of course, edited versions of those pieces of content will end up here for you to enjoy freely as YouTube videos and posts and beautiful stuff, I hope. I think I'm gonna start with the blue medieval dress because it's the oldest project of these three. And then with the red bridal gown, that's gonna take ages to edit. These two are the oldest projects and the ones I'm more inclined to start sharing with you. And for those who are interested more in the crown making endeavors, I'll be relaunching the Save the Crown project, which is something that I started making for Instagram in 2024 and I let it die, which is shameful. So Save the Crown was a very ambitious project that I kind of challenged myself with back in autumn of 2024. The idea was to take apart 3 different ballet headpieces, salvage what could be saved and repurpose these saved materials to create 3 completely new designs. Why is that? Why did I want to take them apart? Well, those pieces I used as a starting point for this project were completely outdated. I did like each design, but I currently apply different techniques and I use different materials that in the end make my crowns and tiaras in the current moment much more sturdy and my designs look more refined. They were pretty, but they don't meet my current standards. So, as they've been collecting dust in a box, in a storage box, nobody asked for them. They got completely forgotten. I thought this was interesting to put them to use. So taking them apart and saving what could be saved, recycling the materials into something new and spectacular and unique, that those resulting pieces would be eventually listed on my Etsy for sale, while people enjoyed the whole process in my Instagram stories. Did I miscalculate that? So this project was originally meant to be a challenge for myself and exclusively shared in my Instagram stories. So this way I would take my most loyal followers throughout the whole creative endeavor of reinventing these pieces from the very first step. I would be showing the dissection of the initial pieces, the salvaging of the materials that could be repurposed, the redesigning, the sketching, a completely new idea inspired by these materials, creating the patterns and the stencils, and finally building the pieces using wire wrapping and soft soldering and cold forging techniques. I wanted to make people feel that they were inside the workroom with me and I was explaining directly to them what I was doing. I had a couple aims for this challenge. First, I wanted to put myself into the mindset of creating something with limitations, with restrictions. And second, in the meantime, I thought this would help me boost my Instagram engagement, which was lame at the time. I would keep record of every interaction in the stories. For the most engaged person would receive a very satisfying discount for my Etsy shop. Well, over 1 year and almost a half later, I only shared 4 chapters, to the point of showing only 2 of the 3 sketches for the designs I would be making. This is of course not ideal. I don't like to not keep my word, and this project, I've been dragging emotionally this project for this time, and the weight of that disappointment, not only of people on me, but of me on myself, it weighs heavy on me, and I want to make things right. So I hope you understand that now. This was a very ambitious project and a great challenge for myself. I totally underestimated the amount of work that it would be to film, to edit, to share the whole process from the bottom to the top of 3 completely different headpieces. It's lots of work. It's lots of work to make a work in progress walkthrough of one single piece. And I somehow thought that it would be a brilliant idea to multiply that. Yay! Not to mention that these videos would only last for 24 hours on Instagram, because I was sharing this on stories. Just a very limited quantity of people would watch them, and I'm sure there's so many other people that would be interested and that would adore to have this content available. I thought that I would find the time to film, that I would keep the stories thing going. Well, it happened that I didn't find the time, and then I got completely unmotivated, so regretfully and to my shame, I didn't keep my promise. This is until now. I reevaluated my options and I decided I want to finish the Save the Crown project, but I want to finish it exclusively for my patrons because it's a whole lot of work. Of course, cropped versions of the process will be available here on YouTube, but you'll need to be one of my patrons to watch the complete process on full detail. So those 3 designs shall see the light finally, while the person with the most engagement in those original Instagram stories will get a promised reward, even when I didn't complete the project there. I think this is the fairest I can be right now after all this time, and I think this is it. I've been babbling for a lot of time now. I don't know how much time I've spent filming already, but this is long. I've got more ideas, but I need to hold myself back and keep those in secret for the moment. Don't reveal more than I will be able to fulfill. So, this is it for now. If you've watched till now, thank you so much, because this is long. You're a true one. Thank you so much, and I hope I can see you next time. Bye! I am a new adventures to the place I kind of relate. Pleasurable. For the time being, I'm setting some eventually, once, oh, qué bien, a ver, cállense, of but also are beautiful examples of craftsmanship. Oh. Ay, se me lengua la traba.